What's Jable and Jables? It's your boy Rob, the DM for this campaign. Welcome back after several weeks of not playing. I don't know whose fault that was, but we're still trying to figure it out. Today, we're resuming Madame Ricole's Caravan of the Peculiar. Very, very excited. We have a recap from our lovely Lisa that's coming up in a second. We might also do a little bit of recapping from the beginning of the game as well, just because it's been a little while. Um, Lisa, would you like to do your part now, though?
Oh, sure. I do want to add that whenever we figure out the person who caused us to be delayed the past 2 weeks, though, they're going to get hung. Hang?
Well
Hung?
done.
Hung? Hang?
Perfect.
One of those. We'll figure it out. All right. Oh, geez, where do we begin? Seems like this sleepy town of Kama is less sleepy than we expected. When Madame Ricole said she felt a calling here, I don't think she was expecting us to be drawn to ghosts and living blood bubbles, but you can never really know with her. That decrepit old building we saw seems to have belonged to the Grotto family at some point, but now it's as full of holes as one of Jim Pim's stories. You would think that not a living soul had stepped foot in that place for years if it weren't for that weird little vial of liquid silver we found hidden. Raises all sorts of questions as to who left it there and why, but that's not even the worst of it. I'll tell you, there's a dead man's ghost in the Grotto stables. A whole ghost! The rest of the gang didn't much believe me when I told him, but I know what these eyes spotted. It sealed the deal when we heard his message, though. Left behind a little runic stone saying something about being part of the horse races. And I sure know folks who have killed for a lot less than a lost bet on the ponies. In that portrait we found of the Grotto line, 8 family members across 3 generations. They don't trust it one bit. Who ever heard of a family that size that didn't house more than a few skeletons in their closet? And we already know one is stuck haunting the stables. The only living grotto we know of is the priest in town to boot. Oh, geez, Bonebreaker, where's your head at? We still have a hanging to get to today. We just barely stepped foot into the Kama cemetery. There's no time to be wasting on silly thoughts, and we've got a man on death's row waiting for the truth to come out. Hopefully, these dead folks will be a bit more forthcoming than the last one.
Nice job. That's
Thank you.
great. That's great. Our dear companions, why don't we introduce ourselves now, beginning with whoever just did the recap, which is you,
Yeah,
Lisa.
right, fine, going out of order. The one thing I couldn't have prepared for. Hello, my name is Lisa. I am playing Bonebreaker, aka Bonnie or Eric Cochran Barbarian.
Hey everybody, my name's Casey Boyd. I'm playing Deep Rot, your Kobold Death Cleric.
Hey everyone, I'm Allie. I am playing Violet, your friendly neighborhood warlock.
Hello. I'm Emily, and I am playing Bee, your local tabaxi rogue.
All right. My beautiful players have no idea what's in store for them today. To give a little bit more of a recap for those who might not remember the first 2 sessions, our adventurers came to this town with Madame Ricole to provide some occult services. And very quickly they discovered that not everything was as it seemed in this town, although they're not entirely sure what it is yet. After some very brief selling and carousing of the townsfolk, they discovered a very loud howl from the forest at night, and then this morning and today discovered that there was going to be a hanged person and they might be innocent. Right now, as our lovely Bonnie said, we're about to ask, I think, some dead people how they died and why, and what gave them the right. I know we started with a bit of an introduction to the graveyard before, but let's do it again. The group stands in front of mossy and damp earth, surrounded by wrought iron fences, caging in the remains of this town's fallen. Headstones litter the ground in not quite neat rows, made of different materials, most of the time stone, sometimes aged in rotting wood. Other times, a simple rock sat upon a lump in the ground. The freshest graves lay near the front entrance, names clearly visible. The ravages of time quickly become apparent as you stroll further between the stones, though you can almost see the wheel turn with each row. At the back, mausoleums, large and opulent things, at least for this town. A piece of paper flutters against the barred gate. It advertises a hefty reward, 100 gold, to whoever can find information on the remains of the missing townspeople. The sound of sniffling can be heard, and a quick look would reveal that a young woman, dwarven, stands before an old grave several rows deep.
I love the smell of this place.
Is she? What's the dwarven woman doing?
Just
Standing there, menacingly.
T-posing. She is, it looks like she's giving respects, paying respects, mourning, normal graveyard behavior.
Can we take a peek over her shoulder and see what the name is on the gravestone that she is mourning at?
Has she
Yeah.
noticed that we're here yet? Or is she kind of in her own? little-
We've started with you folks at the entrance of the graveyard. So if your first action would be to walk over to her to see what is on the grave, you could be sneaky. Otherwise, just walking up is fine.
Can we spot it from where we are? Is it far enough away that it's like too far back or
It's
legible?
maybe 4 or 5 rows of graves in, and if you try and walk down, one of the first rows and look over, some of you are a bit taller than others. You can see that these are fairly worn gravestones, the one that she's standing next to, covered in moss and other
Hmm.
green materials. So no, you can't see exactly what it says. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of information on these gravestones anyway. It's mostly just person's name, their year of birth and date of death, and then maybe a nice thing or two written about them.
And then where are the newer graves?
So they're in the front. They are pretty much to the left and right of the gate. If you walk into the graveyard, you can see pretty clearly that there are some graves that are newer than others, especially the ones in the front rows.
I'm not going to bother the woman quite yet. So
Okay.
I think what I'd like to do is, I'm going to say head to the right, head whichever side of the graveyard she is located on, but not approach her. Just get a little closer, and then check out some of the gravestones that are fresher.
Deep Rot is going to head right towards her.
Hell yeah, Deep Rot. Hell yeah, Deep Rot. Go get it.
I appreciated how
friend.
Lisa said, "I'm not going to bother her quite yet," which opens up the party to take that role, which is great. So that's cool. I did want to say, I forgot to mention, we did, I told the party this, but I'm going to tell the stream this. The dates, there was a date on the picture, so dates are important in this campaign. The current date today in the game is September 17th, 1053 AS, which stands for After Shatter, which doesn't really matter. A little D&D-ified of our current day calendar to keep things simple. The date on the picture was August 2nd, 953.
Hey, DM, what's the shatter?
The Shatter in this world is an event that took place, as it stands, 1053 years ago, where the world was once one big Pangea, but split down the middle, separated, big ocean in between. And that's known as the Shatter. So that's how long it's been since then.
Bonnie doesn't believe in the shatter.
Okay.
But I'm
Shatter
pretty
deniers
sure
are certainly a
that-
thing. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's not actually how it happened, and that those dates are all just made up. But go off.
Isn't all time just made up? Relative?
We live on a
Mm.
disc. The world is flat.
Spoken. Spoken like a true shatter
That could be
denier.
true. No, that conspiracy's too crazy. It's just the Shatter didn't. The world isn't flat, though. So, Deep Rot, what are you going to do? And where are our other two, Clever Bee and Violet, going?
I'm going to be standing back a little bit, probably just doing a more like keeping an eye on things for now, kind of watching our backs a little bit since we've had some spooky things pop up on us so far.
Yep.
Maybe reading some, graves for. Oh, also looking for any that are freshly dug. But like,
Okay.
more passively. I'm not like,
Mhm.
you know,
What about you, Clever Bee?
peeking around.
Bee is gonna start wandering around, see if she sees any like throttle names on any graves and what their condition is. Just
Okay, sure.
I'm so sorry. This dog is
You're fine.
That's okay.
She's having a blast.
I closed her in here because she's being such a brat.
So
Yeah,
Clever-
she's just gonna wander and look for those, so
Really quick, Clever Bee and Violet, make perception checks, please. Deep Rot, what are you doing
so
to this
just
poor woman?
just out of earshot, as I'm walking towards her, he's going to throw kind of a ominous raven caw with his thaumaturgy just kind of off into the distance, just to kind of draw her attention, like maybe away from his approach. And then as he walks up, he'll walk up and he'll set this large shield down with these bone, gloves on. And, of course, the skeleton is tied around the shield. So the head kind of, as he sits down, and he kind of doesn't face her particularly, but he just instead looks at the grave. What is the name on the grave whenever he
The
approaches?
name on the grave, it's hard to see because it is quite old. You can see that the name on the grave is Pontorn Metaltooth.
What was the first name?
Contorn, yeah.
Contorn.
Pontorn. Contorn.
Do you miss
The-
them?
He's just gonna kind of
Yeah.
speak towards the gravestone, like as he, brings this in and sets it down. Kind of like he's kind of a grotesque creature in general, but as he sets it down, he's just speaking out into the general open in front of him.
Your ruse works. You let out the raven caw that sounds off a little bit in the distance, a bit of ventriloquist work, and she looks sharply over there, suspicious, and then you shortly after that thunk your shield down and speak out, and she turns back towards over to you and goes, yeah, I do. He was a good man. You can see that he seems to the dates on the gravestone. We're not gonna say the freaking years, but about 60
What year did
years
she
ago.
die?
60 years from now, before. So I don't know. You guys have the dates. You can figure it out.
60 years from now,
do
we're
math.
seeing the
900
future.
and
She's like, I'm gonna murder him in 60 years. Perfect.
I'm sure.
All the pieces are coming together.
I'm sure that he's on his next journey already. He'll be there waiting for you.
Thank you for the kind words. I haven't seen you around before. Are you new? Are you?
We are. We just came into town, and if you would like to learn when you get to meet this man again, come to Madame Ricole's Caravan of the Peculiar on the edge of town.
When you say we,
She
looks
turns around. We're all lip syncing,
Oh,
by the way.
Jesus.
Like, we're all.
She sees the group of people walking around the graveyard, very mismatched, but somehow very clearly a group. You can see she gulps visibly and nods and says, "Thank you, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm gonna be saying a few more we're spending a little more time alone. But it's very good to meet you.
I believe you're the first person that's ever said that to me.
And he'll just kind of turn around and walk off.
Okay.
She's lying. It's okay. Deep Brown knows. It's like, yeah. This is, yeah.
Okay. Bonnie.
Yeah.
Graves. You
Graves.
find the graves that I think you're looking for, the new graves of the missing people.
Yep.
Or the people involved in the most recent string of happenings.
Of moiders.
So you find about 7 graves that meet the criteria that you're looking for. Would you like the names of these people? What information are you trying to get?
Yeah, if I could get their like zodiac signs.
Okay,
and
that's not on the
familial
graves.
ties.
You'll have to cast
and
Speak with Dead.
Social
It's
security
weird. They're all
numbers.
Leos.
We've got Clever Bee. We already have a Leo. We need to get like a Sagittarius, maybe. I don't know. What are their names?
You have Nathaniel Hawthorne, 14 years old, and then inscribed in the stone as well, missing underneath. Melody Cantor, 6 years old, missing. Corvin Gelv, 32 years old, missing. Jeremy Hawthorne, 12 years old, missing. Nettle Bozzy, 15 years. No missing word underneath it. Utrin Grassley, 17 years, missing. Aether Pendrek, 8 years, missing. I'm gonna put that in our Discord so you guys have that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could not keep up with all that. All right, so everybody is missing with the exception of Nettle Bossy.
Correct.
That is a boss bitch name. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and first I take a look around, see if there's anybody who, other than the dwarven woman, is there anybody in the area or on the outskirts of the graveyard that could be watching us get up to our shenanigans?
Not that you can see. No.
Okay. I'm going to signal to Violet here and show her and kind of like demonstrate the like Nettle Bossy's grave. Yep, looks like we might have a body down here. Think you can work your magic on it?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. As Bonnie is calling Violet over, she is currently looking at something strange or interesting that she's found. There seems to be several rows in, going back further and further in time. There seems to be a group of gravestones in the row that seem to be about the same age. They all look the same, coloration. And they all seem to have dates on them. The writing is very worn. It seems like these gravestones are made of a lot lower quality material stone and very weathered to time. But the dates that you can see on this group of gravestones seems to be around 1953, ranging from August 1st to August 15th. You can, Violet, make out one name. Pidge. No last name.
They're from 953 or 1953?
953.
Okay.
Correct,
Okay, and
Lisa.
then the dates.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
B. You wander to the very back of the graveyard to a couple of the mausoleums. There's 3 or 4, the rest surrounding one that's a bit larger and more opulent than the others. You can see that the names of the Grottle family are etched into these kind of carved works of stone. They don't look like, I say mausoleum, but there's no clear entrance into them. They look. I suppose they're more like statues than anything else.
So not
But-
like something that there would be bodies inside of.
That you don't know.
Okay.
But it doesn't look like there's. It's not. It's not a crypt, I think is the right.
Okay.
term.
Yeah.
So you see Godric Grottle. You see Evers Grottle. And you see Richard Grottle. And Percival Grottle.
And there's like a different one for each of them.
Correct.
Nice little sneaky in of Percival Grottle. Well done. Okay. Am I stupid? What's a mausoleum? How's
It's-
how's that not the same
maus-
as a crypt?
So crypts are underground, I think is the only difference. Mausoleums above.
Yeah, there's a there's I don't know the terminology, but there's like one where you can like walk in and they put the body just on a stone slab inside to rot.
Yeah.
Super gross. It's not that. It's really just a statue. So if there is a body inside of it, you don't know. Because
But
you
it
can't
doesn't
see
have the holes in the wall, because that's what I'm
Correct.
thinking of. Where it's got
Yeah,
all those
that's what
little
I think of for
squares,
mausoleum.
And then
Correct.
you can like
Then it's not
pull-
Okay.
It's not a
So
mausoleum.
it's just
Okay.
like it's like a big statue that is like large enough or has a base big enough that there may or may not be a body in there, but it's not like a building that you enter and exit.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
So it's a shrine.
Yeah.
Ooh,
you
yeah,
could
it
say
almost
that.
seems okay.
How far away is B from me?
100 feet, 200 feet,
Okay.
400 feet.
We
She-
need a more specific number.
She's
Oh,
out of
sorry.
earshot, so I'm gonna
30
cast
feet.
ominous whispers on her and just have her constantly just kind of as it's going through the back of her ears as she's looking at this statue. Just Deep Rot would get personal joy out of that.
Okay. B.
And
It's super spooky, dude. You're leaning down to read the names because they're etched. It's very high quality, so you have to like scrape off some of the schmutz from the names with your thumb, but you're able to do your claw, I guess. You're able to do so, and you lean down. You're reading it as you read Godric Grottle. You just hear the whispers, kind of, and the wind blow past.
series of
Perfect.
questions. Number one, would Deep Rat have done this to her or someone else before, so she would already be familiar with it?
Probably like weekly.
Yeah. So she's just gonna like he can't see her face because obviously she's further back. Her back is to him, and you just see her like roll her eyes, like she just rolls her eyes. But
Yeah.
like there's like a little shiver just from naturally hearing like those kinds of sounds.
Okay. Bonnie and Violet. Wait, so at this point, Violet, you'd hear Bonnie calling you over with the promise of a dead body to work on.
I
That's
think
what we're here for.
Deep Rot is going to position himself between the lady and whatever grave they are digging up, and
Okay.
he's just going to position himself like with the shield off to the side of him and the half body, and he's just going to kind of lean against it, just staring at the lady.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm just-
Oh no.
if
Have
she
we
looks,
even got to the
Oh,
grave
if she-
digging yet?
oh well, I
Yeah,
mean,
but,
if she looks towards
Preparation.
us, I don't want her to see what happens.
Mm.
So
Bonnie, I appreciate you trying to include me, but I think that our grave robber is over there. He's got way more experience than me.
I thought you were going to do the whole the rising
Oh.
of the ghost.
Well, I can speak to the body. We have to take in the dirt. My nails are gonna get dirty, and I just. Did
Oh,
them
do you need to
before we came
find
all
it?
the way.
Oh, I just thought you could
Yeah,
sort of. I just kind of thought you could sort of wave your. Yeah, you know what? It's fine. I'm gonna
just be in the
start digging up
presence
this
of it.
body.
I think I need to because it has to. Because if it talks and it's underneath the ground, where it's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm
Oh,
dead,"
you won't be able to
you know,
hear it. You know
mhm.
what? You know, Violet, I really
Mhm.
should have asked you about this ahead of time. I'm sorry
Mhm.
for assuming. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me, you know. I'm gonna take my
Not
big
me, but
dumb talents. Bonnie's gonna take her big dumb talons and start to tear into the dirt.
In your hands to take. Okay, well, okay. first
She's
and
got big
foremost,
bird feet. She's kicking her
We
feet
still have
kicking out the dirt.
our like professional grave robber party member over here just doing the
the
distracting.
lady,
I'm a barbarian.
the
Yeah.
I
lady,
can do this.
the
Got it.
dwarven lady. She's focusing very hard on the grave, but you can see the moment has passed for her mourning. You can see she like her eyes like kind of go over to Deep Rot's as he just stares right at her. And after a couple moments of that, she just kind of stands upright and begins to leave the graveyard. And she says to nobody in particular, "I'm going to save a place for the hanging now." And she leaves, and you are all left
Nice to
alone.
meet you.
Why have I literally never been more suspicious of an NPC than I am of this lady? What's
Did
her
she even
deal?
leave,
Why
like,
did she feel the need to
flowers or
announce
anything?
her departure? We're in a graveyard. She felt the need to announce her departure to who? To us? We don't need to know she's leaving. What's she up to? Oh, I want to fall.
think
If my little feet weren't halfway down into the dirt right now, I'd follow after her. Unfortunately, we've got other plans to tackle.
She walks past Bonnie, who's just clawing at the dirt. She looks over for a second, looks back, and shakes her head
Hello.
and keeps going. The
Oh,
dirt
shit. I'm like
is
getting
fresh.
some dirt off of my shoes.
It's
You got some
freshly
on my new
dug.
boots.
Although the ground is a bit
She's
muddy,
flying.
you will not be able to dig all the way in time
a
with
cat in a
hands and
sandbox.
feet. You know very quickly that that's not going to happen.
Deep rot. I need
unfortunately.
assistance over here.
Yeah, Deep Rot will now that the other lady has left, he'll walk in and he takes his shield that is basically almost
Oh.
the end of it is almost filed to a point. It's like a shovel, and he just starts scooping. It's not
Okay.
conspicuous,
Love it.
but at the same time, it's just he's just scraping.
Okay, make me an athletics check. Is anybody helping with this?
No.
I'm still over by the mausoleums, not mausoleums.
Okay, you are welcome, B, to join the group if you want.
Well, I just want to see real quick if anything looks like it's been disturbed around them, since it was like these people's house where we found creepy, weird magic.
Make me an investigation check.
19 on the athletics.
Ah! That's like 7.
The cry of a roll below a 10. You
Really, I rolled a
Do-
3 because I have a +4.
you don't see much of anything. You do see that the algae, the moss, the schmutz, the dirt that's crawled up along the walls has grown over time. You would imagine it really hasn't been cleaned off ever. And you don't see any markings that would indicate something's changed.
Okay. Then I'm just going to head over and watch the spectacle.
Deep Rot, you, with practiced hands, carve a path straight down through the earth. Clumps of dirt fly left and right. And in about 10 minutes, which is pretty good time, Deep Rot clunks against wood.
You get really good at this the more you do it.
Good technique. All right.
Violet,
Yeah, DM. So that it says like 6 years. Like it says years on there.
that's
Are we
like it's the
assuming-
dates. That's the
Okay,
like the
okay,
difference
that
between
was-
the dates that'd be on there. Just
So
so
it's
that we
like-
don't have to do math for each
It's a child.
Okay.
grave.
Okay, so then we have like the dates that they all went missing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming
Oh,
they were all in
um,
the last.
Nettie Bossy is 15 years old.
Yeah, but how like recently? Like, what's the date? The latter date? Like, how many days ago was it? Because I'm
Like,
guessing
did
it
they
was
all
very.
die on the same
Oh,
day?
oh, oh, oh,
or are you
oh, oh,
saying,
I
like,
see what
they
you're
all
saying, I see what
die
you're
across
saying.
like 6 months?
It's within the span of a week.
Mhm.
About maybe
All of
2
them?
weeks ago. Yeah.
Dang, dude.
Interesting. That seems so quick to put gravestones up after
Well, they could still
2
be
weeks.
missing. They're like just
No,
assuming they're
also
dead.
missing. I know, right?
I would
What
be
a way
really
to jump
pissed
the
if I
gun.
came back after like a surprise vacation and everyone was like, "Oh, we thought you were dead."
So we put your
Here's your
name on
grave.
it.
We made a
Tombstone.
grave
Yeah.
for you. Do you
So-
like it? Do you want to come check it out later?
That's happened to me before.
this
too.
is
It
your
sucked.
stone of
Really
shame.
hurt.
Yeah, honestly, this is your shame
Call back,
stone.
baby.
Anyway, we've decided that
Nice.
no one in the village is allowed to talk about you anymore. So, good luck with your new life wherever you were. Not that I'm
Okay.
bitter about last
Oh,
campaign.
Yeah.
before we do this, what questions, y'all? We have 5. Y'all, that was Allie speaking. That was not Violet.
What,
Group.
Bonnie?
I don't,
Ooh, I've got
people,
plenty
I
of
don't know what
ideas
word
for-
to use anymore. Guys,
Um,
that's Bonnie.
So
What would we like to ask? And we could all ask. I mean, we can go in a circle and each ask a question. You know.
who killed you?
Who killed
Who
you?
killed you?
Who killed you?
How
She's writing these
did you
down.
die?
Is there a limit to time or the number of questions for this?
5 questions.
I don't think we should ask
Okay.
the ghost that. I think we should save our questions.
How does this spell work?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Tell me
What?
how,
You know
How
what
does-
I meant.
how does this magic work?
I'd also like, I mean, if we have, like, maybe do you know where the other people are?
Or like, do you know anything about the missing people?
Yeah, yeah, that's more open-ended. Do they have to be yes and no's?
No, they can answer to the best of their ability.
Nice.
So if they don't know the information, they just won't.
Okay, so I think that me and Deep Rod and I should take front stage, because this is kind of, you're good with dead people, and I'm nice enough.
Well, the nice thing is that the dead people don't get scared of the way I look, so I don't know that I'm the best
Oh,
face
that's
of
why
the
they
thing.
like you so
Yeah.
much. Oh. Okay. Can you open it?
You need help with the.
Kind of. It's like, how deep is this? I feel like we're like.
It's
Yeah,
I
how
don't-
tall is it?
Was it
I-
a shallow grave or?
We
It
got
was
some
a-
shorties in this group, so
a normal sized grave. I don't know how far they dig graves. Appropriately said. Deep
Wow.
Rot's like, yeah, this is a normal grave. So
You should know this,
yes,
DM. This is
I
a-
Rob,
imagine.
why don't you know about graves? More
Googling.
information.
So you're where
it's an
6 feet,
experience.
6 feet below. That's where
Okay.
animals can't smell. So
So interesting. The Deep Rot is well hidden beneath the earth. He throw
You
he,
can't
he
even. Oh, can't even see his head.
someone probably has to hold his waist as he reaches down to open the casket, and
He's just hanging.
he,
He's
You-
just hanging.
you open it to the smell of corpse and grave earth, and inside is a rotting body, much to no one's surprise.
Oh, she's in really good shape, actually.
Yeah, tell us
It is
everything.
well. What's left of her? It's actually, I'm sorry, it's a guy. What's left of him, at least.
Oh.
What you see is a young elvish boy who has been essentially torn to shreds. Large swaths of their body, their torso and below, are cut into ribbons, likely with a sharp object of some kind. You can see their innards and organs also damaged. You're not sure exactly what the cause of death might have been, but it probably involved some kind of blood loss. The neck and above, blessedly, are relatively intact, although bugs crawl about in and out of their nose, mouth, and ears, and they stare up towards the sky with a wordless expression.
And this is Nettle.
Yes.
does
Really
ahead.
quick. Can someone take like keep keep an eye out, make sure there's, that lady's not coming back with the town guard to run us out, and they walk in as we're having a seance.
I can do that. B will do that.
That'd be bad timing.
So as I'm opening up this, can I give a cursory perception? Does this individual amongst the bloat and rot, does this person have any semblance or resemblance to the other two grumpy elves or half elves that were in the bar that had mud on their boots?
You
They're
can
better
make
be-
me an.
Same last name.
I'd give you investigation or perception.
Well, I have a lot better perception, so we'll do that.
And B, also give me perception, please, if you're standing guard.
8.
Okay. You can't tell. It is equally hard with. It was the only time you've seen them really was in a dark and smoky bar, and then also you're comparing it to a bloated and rotten corpse. So there's not much to work off of.
Anything shiny or anything that I see as I open up the...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I
Keep
have...
right. Keep
Rob,
right.
I have
Do you have
announced
anything?
Save
many,
it for
many
after.
times that I shop here.
After we speak to them, Deep Rot, we've had this conversation before.
Sure. He will...
It's more respectful.
He'll move up near their head and kind of support the neck and shoulders and the head so that way it doesn't fall off, and then kind of tilt them up towards, and he'll just kind of sit behind it.
Hey, everyone.
The puppeteer.
Are we ready?
You're 22 for perception, by the way, for guarding.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah.
Head on a
Super.
swivel.
Fine.
I'm trying to
Alright.
think of a nice way. I'm like, do I have a dramatic way of casting this spell?
Bippity boppity boof.
Yep. I mean, she doesn't really have that much of a little flair. She probably does a little hand twirling and vaguely ominous sounding incantations, and I cast Speak with Dead. I will click on it on the thing.
You watch as Violet casts her, some would say, profane spell. She lights a few wicks of incense and thrusts them into the dirt. It burns, and although the smell is muffled by rotting corpse, it still is there, marking the beginning of the spell as she chants her incantation. As she does so, the body's neck and head, Deep Rot, you can feel it immediately, begins to slacken and become loose, and then stiffen again, although this time with a very lifelike essence. And it leans forward of its own volition out of your hands, just a little bit. You can see the muscles below the neck where it is cut and torn to ribbons quiver just slightly, as if trying to call along those muscles to support itself. It looks suddenly up and towards the group, but locks eyes with Violet specifically, questioningly.
Hello, Nettle. We are friends. We can't make it right, but we hope you can help us save others. Could you tell us a little bit about how you died? We need spooky music in the background.
I have some spooky music going on Tailspire.
Oh. I totally muted that when it was really loud that one time.
I hope that it's
Oops.
playing for the stream.
The body's mouth opens, and a bodiless voice sounds out from inside, layered and wrapped in the flesh of a corpse.
I died in the forest, I was attacked by a large furred creature that stood on two legs.
I'm writing this all down.
This one's all
Okay,
you,
well
Violet.
that covered our first two questions all the way. Were
At
you
what
with any of the? Okay.
At what point are we going to stop pretending that it's not a werewolf? Can we just
Yeah.
call it as a werewolf? Would our
It's
characters
fine.
know
We just
that?
don't say it.
Could be one.
Your
Oh,
characters would know what werewolves are.
No.
Were creatures at least. They can come in different flavors.
Yeah, okay.
Your
Is it
characters
me?
would know
Is
what
it a
that is.
werewolf?
I feel like our characters would have
Furry, not
like
feathery.
an excitement like collector cards with those like famous ones on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
my gosh, let's quest for every type of were creature we can find.
Oh, guys, in
Yes.
this pack, I got Fenrir Greyback. Did you get him too?
There's not a whole lot to do when you're caravanning.
I got a
for
really
months and months
furry
on
rat.
I've seen a werewolf, but I've never seen a were deer or a were snake
That'd
or a
be
were
terrifying.
jaguar.
Deer are
Just
kind of like.
we've been, tiptoeing around.
Yeah.
the whole werewolf
I think they have to be predatory mammals. Maybe.
Meat eaters.
I'll do some research.
Reptiles
like-
and prey creatures don't make a whole lot of sense for were creatures.
As
It's a
someone who's
weird
read
scale.
a lot
I guess
of
it's possible.
paranormal romances, I'm sure I can find the answer.
I'm going
not
to
what I thought you were
defer to
going to
Emily's
say.
knowledge on this. No, I believe her. I stand with it 100%.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
okay.
I'm trying to think if I
for
read any
sure
books
there's
with
some kind of
were
weird,
like
were
reptiles or not.
bunnies that are only snacking on carrots.
All
but
right,
also
guys. All right,
sometimes
all
murder
right, all right.
people.
Violet,
Okay.
Where
did you have another
grubs,
question
where
that you
dirt,
wanted to ask?
same thing.
Yes.
Next
Ask
question.
him if the werewolf is single. Maybe we can pivot the turn of the
We'll say that.
campaign.
We'll say that for the. You can
Yeah,
ask him that yourself later. No, you got me all off my. Okay. You weren't the only one to go missing. Do you know where? Do you know
what
where?
happened to the others?
I don't know quite how to. I'm thinking of how to phrase this, like
Do you
to
know,
get what I want to get. Yeah.
like what
Spit
happened
it out.
with the others, or
I don't have forever.
something a bit more general.
Yeah, where
Um,
the others are.
Did you see what happened to the others? Can you tell us about that? That's one question. Can you tell us about what happened to the others if you know? Here we go.
I was playing in the forest with my friends Nathaniel and Jeremy, and then we were attacked. I didn't see what happened to them. They ran off.
I'm sure they're still alive. Jeremy. What can you tell us about what's his name? Percy. The guy getting
Percival?
hung.
Percival. Oh,
The guy getting hanged. What?
Percy
Shoot.
Woodsmith?
What do you know about Percy Woodsmith? There we go.
He works and lives in the forest. His house is near one of the abandoned campgrounds. He was nice.
Anyone else want to ask a question? We have two more. I have one I'd like to save for the end.
So we have one more. Yeah.
Where would you say the remainder of your earthly belongings might be hanging out?
No, nope. You didn't say that one.
I said it in character voice. It's canon. I'm so sorry.
Fuck.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
that
I
was me
can't think
too.
of
That
when
was
it in
me as
character
Violet.
voice.
Also saying nope. Nope, that doesn't count. I cast a spell. I don't consent to that one.
No, it's a good question. It means we can ask about his relatives and we can find out where he resided in town. And we, it's very, it's helpful.
That's always my last question is, like last words and
You want to ask about his last words.
Yeah, like
Who gives
what do
a
you want
fuck
to say
about?
to us
Oh.
That's a
when he's
stupid
dead?
question. Anyway, my
I'm just
stuff.
saying we could be
is
asking about if he's got any
polite.
hidden treasure somewhere. I don't know. He's a 15-year-old kid up to some shenanigans. Who knows what he's got stashed away?
You
Can't-
deep rot. You hear the corpse answer the question while these
Ah.
two are bickering loudly. You hear the answer. You hear, I'm holding a charm in my left hand, and the rest of my stuff is in my room, top floor of the house to the left of the tavern. I also have a stash in the speaker house of the campgrounds, under the cabinet of the sink.
I will. After they finish bickering,
Okay, so do you guys want to hear the answer to the question?
Mhm.
Yes, please.
and then I would
Please
recap. And while I'm
don't, DM.
recapping, I would just kind of reach into the hand and try and pry the fingers apart to take the charms.
Wait, we have one more question. One more question.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Oh,
while I'm telling you, I'm
okay.
just taking the charm.
As long as he doesn't see that, because I don't know. I guess I can't really get mad. Oh fuck, my. Okay, yeah. I was
Really
gonna ask
quick,
about his.
deep rot. You reach down just very casually down the back of the corpse into the hand, and you can
I'm just
feel,
groping it a little
and
bit.
you can you feel it just for a second, and it strikes you as odd. So you look down, you can see the hand is very firmly grasped in a death grip around this little necklace talisman that sparkles silver because it's made of silver. You put your fingers to try and pry the hand open, and it opens for you. The muscles relax, and you're able to take it. The hand, once the talisman is taken, closes back again in the same grip. And you can see that it is almost, it is a silver pendant that has a mixture of dried, very small dried flowers.
What part of it's silver? If it is,
The chain and the housing.
okay.
So it's kind of like a intricate, almost like a Celtic knot.
Is
of
this
pattern,
something that I
but-
would recognize as like burial rites?
Like a
You-
protection charm.
Have seen that. You don't think that's what it is. You do think it's similar to the talismans that you give out, just a different flavor, essentially.
You're welcome. You're welcome for asking. I know. What did I do? I found some great
Okay.
for the crew. You're welcome.
Well, now I'm gonna be an asshole and not ask my last.
I'm going to interrupt you again
Yes.
because B, you're hearing your group bickering and arguing as normal, so you know everything's going
I just
smoothly
want
over in
that.
in their direction. But for you, you're leaning against one of the pillars of the gate, looking down the road towards town, but you hear footsteps coming from the other direction, from the forest.
Do I see anything?
You do. You turn and look down, and you can see not frighteningly close, frightening's not the right word, but surprisingly close, is a
He's not
man.
Nagby. Oh, thank God.
One of the men, half-elf men, that you saw in the tavern. I don't know if your character actually saw them, but you heard them described. The rough woodsman half-elves.
One of the ones that we're
muddy boots.
skeptical of because we don't know a lot of
Correct.
information about them.
So,
Correct.
just as a quick reminder, we know a little bit about them. We know Vinny Arms and Tanner Arms, and Vinny is Tanner's dad. So, if
By
you can
that,
see him, we might
correct.
be able to just identify which one he is, just depending
Correct.
on his age.
And that's a good point. From that train of logic, this is Tanner. By and large,
Son.
you can see in the daylight a much better view of this half-elf, bald, large, stocky, big beer gut, but also very clearly rugged and used to the outdoors. Same boots, although layered shirt this time, carrying across one shoulder a large crossbow, and across the other shoulder a recently slain stag. He's staring
Regular
at
or
you.
of the were variety?
Is he staring at
Dealer's
me
choice. Yes,
or at
right at you.
specifically me? Like,
You're the
what
only-
kind of stare are
you're
we
the only-
talking here?
Completely blank-faced, just staring right at you.
But mind
Intensely.
you, he's carrying like 300 pounds on one
Is he
shoulder. Just
walking with purpose or just strolling, ambling?
He's walking down the road towards the town.
And staring
You can
at me.
safely assume he did not come here for you. He has other business that he's doing. You just happen to be on the
Nice.
road, and he's looking at you because you're out of place.
Are there any like little pebbles near my feet?
Yes.
I
Thank you
would
for
like
asking, though.
to pick 2 of them up and try and like hit Bonnie and Deep Rot with them to try and like get their attention. But I guess that's not a really subtle way, but just like as if I'm like fidgeting, like, oh,
I love it.
ha 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 ha, to try and be like, hey, like, but not violent because I want this whole
Okay.
other scenario to be undisturbed.
Make me a sleight of hand check, please.
Oh, I would love to. Watch it be awful. 17. That's not bad.
Hey, it's not bad.
Hey.
So what happens is you see this guy. He's 20 feet away from you. He's pretty close to you.
But he's
staring
not
at
walking
you.
toward me because he's
Well,
walking.
but the gate is along the road. He's walking.
Okay,
along
okay,
the-
okay.
So you bend down, pick up 2 pebbles, turn, toss them at your friends, turn
No.
back, and he's staring at you the entire time. However, so that's what happens.
Now he
Your-
sees us.
Not
Your
my
sleight of
intention.
hand, your sleight of hand, makes it so that it was pretty slick the way you did it, and if he acknowledged it, there's no reaction to it. If he saw
Love
it.
that.
If he understood what you were doing.
Does
He
he look
does-
like
he
he's
cocks his
coming
head a
toward
little
the gate, or is he just looking like he's walking past, like he's just on his way?
He's walking past very quickly.
so.
And
Something I want to ask: since B wasn't here as a player character to hear the other conversation with the guardsman, just like going and not understanding that he was doing things during the nights and during the days, would B recognize this same like mannerisms like the town guard had, where he's kind of like just slack-jawed and like non-responsive, but like is still functioning? Similar to the town's guard, not remembering what he
good
did.
question. I like that question. I'm going to give you inspiration for that question.
Sweet.
You don't know.
Passive
But that's a great
perception of
question.
15. Does that help?
That would, if, as he said, you were there to make that connection. You, however, make me an insight check, please, B.
15.
Okay. As he walks past you, first of all, 2 pebbles land near the group. Maybe one patters down into the grave and smacks against the corpse. From B, obviously trying to look nonchalant. Do you 3 do anything with that information?
I don't hear it. I'm in the hole.
One question more. One more.
One of them went in the hole.
Oh,
That's true. One of them did go in the hole. You just see
One
a
was
pebble.
for you, and one
donk
was
you
for
on the head.
Bonnie.
ow.
Look at that. Such a pretty rock. Oh.
Okay. Well,
Hi. Is
fair
the,
enough.
Can I ask my last
That's-
question?
so-
I'm not giving a shit about the pebble.
Almost. Fair enough. The last thing for B, you notice as he walks past you and he manages to go past. He doesn't really even look in the graveyard. You get the sense that he's a bit simple, based on his reaction.
Ah. Interesting.
A rube to swindle. Okay, Allie, please go ahead.
I mean, that isn't necessarily exactly where my mind went to, but yeah, we could 100% can get this. My immediate thought was this guy's gonna love Madame Ricole.
After Allie
she is
asks,
gonna
after Violet
eat
asked her
him
questions, I have a series of more questions about
Oh,
this
dear.
fellow.
Dear Lord above. Allie, please go ahead.
Is there anything else you can tell us that you think can assist us in
With like finding your killer.
figuring out who killed you and bringing them to justice? Anything you could tell us.
I thought you were gonna ask about like last rites or last words or something.
Yeah, I was going to, but then I realized he didn't have so much information about how he died, so I was hoping he could be a little bit more detailed.
But then Violet realized we don't care about that.
I mean, if I had the time, it's like, I feel like it'd be nice to go to his family and be like, oh, we talked to Nettle. But
Oh God.
We could still do that. We could
Hey,
just like lie.
We dug up
We could
Nettle.
just be like his,
Well, I
his,
mean, to
his
be
last
fair, it's
words
not
were that
his-
he
yeah.
loves you or whatever. Anyway, where's your sink?
yeah,
I
and we
heard
also
there's
wouldn't
such
know
a
because
thing
like
as
his
sink.
soul didn't come back. It's just him speaking from memory. So like, it's just a nicety.
All right.
Okay. Okay. He says, I'm so sorry. That is such a complex question to ask a corpse, dude.
I think about it.
He's a very self-aware corpse, isn't he? Such a complex question to ask a corpse. What else does he say?
Poor corpse.
The third brother, Benny Hawthorne, was there with us, but left an hour earlier, and we kept playing.
Okay.
Bonnie cracks her knuckles. Is all right. Well, that's as good of a lead as any. It sounds like we gotta track down this Benny Hawthorne fella.
Okay, start filling the hole in again.
Let me get out first.
Pull him up. Nope. I'm like, yank him out.
Does the ghost just like
smashing things.
just
Yeah, oh, it just like
disappear?
Just
collapses.
dries. Yeah.
again. Well, there was nothing that really came
this-
into like again. The soul doesn't.
At this point, Deep Rot just like gets ready for the collapse of the body, and then as it does, he just kind of like steps out of the way
We've done
and
this.
lets the body fall back down and climbs out and kind of like does that hop shut and then lands on the hood and then starts just like reaching for any dirt that he can and starts kind of raking the sides and climbs out.
Hey, well done, you two. I see that was, not quite as informative as I'd hoped, but it certainly didn't seem like it was Percy that came swinging at him. So we have some
It's Percy,
evidence.
right? You said Percy was
No,
nice.
he said Percy was very nice, yeah. But, a creature that stands on two legs, has a lot of fur,
I
could
have
be a
an
whole
idea.
heck of a lot of anything. Could be a man in
You
a
know-
fur coat. Could still have been Percy.
What if we took his head and we did this again right before the hanging in front of everybody? And we're like, this is Nettle, and he's Nettle, and he can tell us definitively that Percy was a good dude who didn't kill him. And then he's like, Percy didn't kill me.
I'm just gonna bring up the last time we tried to do this, we got chased out of town and people came after us with torches.
People are awfully weird about seeing the corpses of their slaughtered
Yeah.
loved ones in the middle of town square. I don't understand.
But they're about to do a
I
hanging,
just-
so
I know you're preaching to the choir, Violet. But I'm with Deep Rot on this one. I don't think that those
Mhm.
folks are gonna take that all too polite.
Yeah. Okay. Well, should we go? But I mean, so and in terms of appropriate conversations to have with morning folks, can we go talk to the third brother and be like, "Hey, we hear your two brothers and your friend died. You didn't. That's sus."
I mean, they're missing, so like
Them
it's
they're
like
dead.
low key sus.
They're dead.
B, what's got you so
They
distracted?
dug
Oh,
graves.
who's that?
Okay.
Yeah, the sun's getting there. I just don't want to miss the hanging.
No, I want to do the.
You guys imagine you probably have like half an hour left before it's time.
Oh no.
If we can just do it on the way. I don't. I really like to just go because I'm gonna get good seats for this. I mean, you never know, like the vendors who that are gonna be there. It's just you want to get there before the crows start picking up things.
Yeah, you want to get put next to like the pretzel stand and not the pickle stand.
Yeah,
I understand.
pickled eggs is what I'm looking for, but sure.
Mm. I don't know what they have at these things.
Okay, we had questions about this Arns dude. All right, can we
Yeah.
please wrap
I have questions about the simpleton since he's simple. Does he have any like easily grabbable things on his person? Coin purses, scrolls, bags that little furry hands can stick into?
Okay,
I
I'll be
feel
honest.
like-
I didn't think that your questions were just going to be about robbing.
I can't shake the feeling of being responsible, partially responsible for any crimes you commit, because I create the crimes for you to commit. So I always it just I feel complicit when I answer these questions.
Listen, if B
you-
sees someone simple, she's gonna try and take advantage of it.
Aw.
Complicit. You're the perpetrator. You might have to take the fall on this one, Rob.
Duly noted. I'll get the rope ready. You see that you see a quiver of bolts. There's about 5 in there.
Yeah.
Crossbow. Not strung right now. You see the stag slumped over one shoulder. You see that there are a few pockets in the pants and vest. 1 or 2 of the pockets have telltale lumps of things inside of them. You do not see anything necessarily. That's a lie. You see, now that you're looking, you see almost the belt that he has is almost like a bandolier around his waist, in that it has several slots for things to be fitted into, and the slots cover most of what's in there, but you can see a small glass rim and cork sticking up out of several of those slots. Some of them are empty. Some of them are not. You imagine those are vials of some kind filled with who knows what. I'm going to say there's also a sheath with a knife in it. And that's it. That you can
How
see.
tight are his pockets? Like, is he wearing tight pants or
They're
a
very
tight
tight.
vest?
They're very
or
fashionable.
like, no! That's when I make this more challenging for me. Well, if they're tight, did I see outlines of like gold in some of them, or like pieces of paper that would have like notes or something on it?
If they're really tight,
There's
you can see everything.
The deed to
Yeah.
the house that he lives in is sticking out of one pocket,
Well, we don't
and
know what's going on with
the-
this dude
the
and his
Hope
dad,
Diamond
so he
is
could
sticking out
easily
of the
be
other.
like carrying around information or gold.
I mean, I would just be happy with the deed to his house. That's enough.
make a deed check. I don't. You
He carries around a forgery.
I would like to think that B
Amorphous
is a
blobs in his pocket.
practiced. I would like to think that B is a practiced enough thief that she would have some idea of whether a pocket has like money or stuff she can't identify or information.
It turns out
you
this
can't-
guy he carries around acorns so that way he can feed the squirrels and you're trying
You
to rob
clearly
it.
I-
don't look enough at guys' butts who
Awesome.
wear tight pants when you
I
can
would
tell what's in their pockets.
Really, if later after the session you can go to Tavern Chat and post a few examples of what intelligence in pockets looks like.
I mean,
I'd
like
love to
like
see it.
paper.
Otherwise,
Smartly
same
dressed,
thing.
Rob. It's a known concept.
I can't
There's
even
thick
imagine what that
paper
would
in
look like.
D&D because it's not regular, modern, technologically created paper.
Okay. You can see 2 pockets that have things that you
Paper.
imagine might be worth stealing.
Sure.
What it is inside, you're not quite sure.
I would like to try and steal
I
these
just want the
things.
crossbow.
Okay.
What's it? Can we
Go
just beam him
ahead.
up and
Aren't
steal
these
his
guys
crossbow?
like kind of nice and helpful? Potentially.
We don't know that about these guys.
So it wasn't that he was mean necessarily. He was just I think the word's
Sus.
obstinate. He wasn't.
They also just weren't very
standoffish is a good
Yes, they weren't very forthcoming when.
Apathetic.
You guys gave them their round of drinks, and you got a grunt in response, and you gave them the advertisement, and they just shrugged, essentially.
They just think
So.
to themselves. Like
All right, you're
us.
stealing this
They
guy's
know-
stuff.
Yes, please.
Go ahead. What are you doing? You walking up, Assassin's Creeding
Don't
up
walk
behind them,
up-
and
oh,
then
no.
stealing from their pockets?
It's gonna end so badly.
Stealth check, sleight of hand.
Okay.
But he
Stealth.
knows you're there.
If you'd like to do something else for that,
Yeah, I
You're
don't
welcome
want to.
to.
I don't want to stealth because I'm just gonna like walk up like I'm like chatting with him, and then do the like presumably like reach over while I'm talking to him kind of
Yeah.
thing. Does that make sense?
yes. Yep. You
Like,
Okay.
oh hi, I know you. We met earlier. What was your name again?
You
Stops and
begin-
stares at you.
you begin to walk up behind the gentleman, and almost as soon as you begin your movement, his head he stops and he snaps around to look at you and stares
Like
at you.
in a like creepy robotic way or in a normal
Not
human
robotic,
way?
but very like hears a noise, responds, and he does that. And
Like,
he is-
"Oh,
his body's
hi."
facing you, and he's staring at you. A slight frown on his face.
We can talk and walk if you like. I recognize you. What's your name again?
Busy. Not
Huh?
interested. Busy. Not interested.
I'm busy.
Well, that's rude.
He turns and begins to walk again.
Did he
Now I
not
want
notice
to
us?
stealth behind him.
Bonnie, we're leaving.
Screw this guy. I want to stealth behind him and steal from him.
Now I'm doing it out of spite.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I mean, you rolled already,
I
so
rolled.
we're
If
gonna
a
keep
13,
that.
if a 13 is not enough, I will use inspiration on this.
I can't say whether it is enough or not.
I feel
However,
like as a
Use-
hunter, he's probably pretty.
that's
I'm using inspiration.
okay. Go ahead.
22. Stealth.
Okay. And now sleight of hand.
I want to tell you the answer.
Don't worry, I can see it. It's a 10.
I know.
You stick your hand in these Wranglers.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
care if
he
he
likes
catches
that.
me. That's what he gets for being rude.
Maybe he likes
He
a
can-
woman who's a
Yeah.
little forward.
Yeah, you're
Honestly,
groping him from
if
behind.
he were to turn around and be like, sorry, can't resist a cute butt, and like try and play it off.
Does it work?
You're just
Remember,
Come behind him.
giant, puffy-faced cat.
One might say I try very hard to look cute and innocent and persuasive of
That's how cats get to know each other. Gotta sniff the butt to know, like, is that not a human norm?
You see.
Oh.
So the rest of the group is watching this.
that my
You
eyelashes.
guys are ready to leave. You see Clever Bee's hand. She very stealthily walks up. She's a cat, so she puts her feet in like his footprint, so she walks behind him, reducing the noise, and she gets up right behind him, takes her hand, and begins to slowly put it into a pocket in his hand.
My sleight of hand rolls have been so bad this campaign, which is
This is-
absurd.
Oh no.
His
Grab
hand
his hand by
he
mistake.
doesn't even like before he even turns to look, his hand darts down and grabs your wrist.
Great, I'm gonna
In
try
a
and hold his
vice.
hand.
It is your hand is like this. And it hurts. It's like he is gripping it hard.
You heard me.
Can
You
she
can't-
charm
How-
him
how-
with her
how-
toe beans?
Are you trying to do this? I mean, I don't
I'm
Like-
trying. It's really hard to do it to myself. So if he
Because
reaches,
it's not
I'm just gonna try.
possible. Go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna try to like reach around and grab on and be like, "Oh, are we holding hands now? Great. Tell me more about yourself."
Should we leave?
The rest of us have left the graveyard. We yelled for
Yeah,
Bonnie.
I'm, like, going the
or
other direction.
For B, and we
We
left.
filled in the hole.
Listen, he's walking toward town, which is towards the execution. So I don't think you guys are going necessarily in the other direction.
You guys can't get to this encounter.
pretend that we
You're
don't
forced
know
to
you.
watch this whole thing. God damn it! You do your best at
You know, I could go
seduction
invisible right
with
now,
your
guys.
wrist.
You know what? No, I'll rephrase to make it more feasible. He grabs my wrist, so he has one of my arms in my hands. So B will do that classic girl thing where she takes the other hand and like clings onto his arm. You know what I mean?
Ew.
Listen, I'm getting out of this because he's a butt munch.
Okay, he grips your arm, your wrist,
Fine.
and then as you go in to hug his arm, he just shoves you as hard as he can away from him. Make me an athletics check.
Are you sure I can't make an acrobatics check?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yes, you're sure. Or yes, I can.
I'm very sure. I'm very sure.
15.
Okay, he shoves you. You don't lose your footing, but you're dislodged from him. And he turns towards you, and he puts his hand. He puts his hand on his dagger, the hilt of his dagger, and stares at you.
Oh, now wait a second.
We're
Watching B get shoved, Bonnie hops to attention. But we're all watching this. I don't know, maybe y'all haven't.
You've
Bonnie
seen
has
every
been
piece of it.
watching
D-Pro
this
was
play
leaving.
out.
Fight this guy so badly. He's just so rude. Would be just.
Did you set our house on fire?
Time to change a battery. It sounds
Every
I don't
time
know
I
where-
leave,
that sounded like
something
it came from
happens.
this
I get
room.
nervous.
But there's no fire detector.
Love
in
that
this
we have
room.
another 45 minutes to listen to that beautiful beeping sound.
Oh, have you been hearing it the whole time?
Yeah.
Just
Just-
heard it the one time.
Okay, that was new for me too.
I feel like
Ah,
I looked
sorry.
at our detector
listen,
and
listen,
it
listen.
expired 10 years ago.
We
so-
haven't done anything yet. Let's
Fine.
continue.
Oh Jesus, that is not.
I would say
oh,
that we've
no.
been a bunch of little rascals, and I think that is doing something.
Okay, that's
Anyway,
okay.
I'm going to. Bonnie is going to fly over immediately and kind of rest a hand on B's back just to kind of make sure that she's steady, and just give her a little like, "Are you okay?"
B has like taken a stance and is glaring at this guy. She just finds him highly irritating.
Well, now that was a step too far, sir. Yeah.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable to express your boundaries, but I think the shove was a little bit much. I think that my friend here is owed a bit of an apology. First you say, "I'm sorry," and then you say what you're sorry for. So then you say, "I'm sorry that I shoved you."
Oh my god. His
No, it's not. Oh, it's not. Oh my god! It's, "I'm sorry."
Is it really loud? I don't want you guys to have to keep hearing it.
I just don't want my house to burn down while I'm gone.
I'm gonna turn on push it off. You guys, his vision darts between the two of you. His eyes dart between the two of you, and then he shakes his head and says, "Don't touch me." And he begins to walk again towards town.
Maybe learn some manners.
Don't worry, B. There's plenty of
Well,
fish in the sea to tear apart and eat. I don't know, you're a cat.
That guy was a real jerk. I'll tell you that. Now, surely our paths won't cross with his later. He's certainly we're never gonna see him or his beautiful shiny crossbow again. Next
I
time
hope
you go
so,
for one of
because-
his pockets, what's the chance that you might be able to get that crossbow away from him? Yeah, we can talk about it later, but just so you know, has a nice new home right next to old Skull Crusher here, and she pats her maul slightly. The rest of the group is waiting for us, so we should probably scurry back.
That was a
Just
good
gonna,
one,
like,
Deep.
follow
I
her
think
back
we
and
did a
just
great job.
grumpy.
Some
It's
of
too
our
much
best
crosstalk.
work.
Too much crosstalk.
sorry.
Crosstalk. Take it again. Take it again.
Me, you.
Yeah,
Anyone.
you.
Oh, I was just talking to Deep Rod about our high quality seance work. I think we're really getting it.
All right, I think I
down
found
to
the
a
culprit.
science.
This one was
all right.
less profitable than normal, but
Yeah,
Whatever
you win
happened
some,
to
you
the-
lose some. It might
the-
lead to profit.
but the days of old when people were buried with all of their possessions, that was so much better.
I mean, the old tombstones here, they looked even poorer quality than the new ones. So I don't have a lot of faith that those would have been more lucrative.
Yeah. Not sure what to think of with this place. It's doesn't seem like the old graves and shrines and the people's names. Doesn't seem like there's
Bet
bodies there.
the priest family, their graves would probably be the most hmm, successful. Let's not rob those until we're on our way out of town, though. Anyway, hi DM, welcome
Hey,
back. How's
I
our
found
how's
it.
our
It
house?
was a spare fire alarm that came with the house. Decided to start beeping. All right,
Oh,
you guys have that
good job,
encounter.
house.
Relationships are forged, and
Destroyed.
love interests are built. You
Ugh.
make your way back to
Very
town.
Kind of a bold assumption for public enemy number 1, Tanner Arns.
It's Deep Rod
Number
and Violet.
one.
The fact that she was able to talk the
Nah.
dead Deep Rod is feeling
You know what?
emotion
I
that he's never
still
felt before.
praise you.
Oh no.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh my God,
Got
I'm
little
first.
Hawaii stars in his eyes now every time he looks at her.
Aw.
You ask them where their stuff is, and then we'll go and steal it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh,
You guys
no.
make your way into town,
Ugh.
and you can see that the crowd is pretty much at critical mass. You'd be surprised if there's anybody from town that's not here. You can see that there is a stream of people coming from the direction of where you believe the racetrack is. From the graveyard, you could see from the angle that you were at. I'll draw it with a ruler.
That already
A
happened?
large. What?
The race? Did the races already happen, or were they
No.
supposed
No,
to
there's
happen?
another one in like a couple of days or something.
I would
Oh, then
assume
why
they
did-
happen pretty regularly.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, but I don't think that this isn't like the one that we were working
Okay.
on.
Okay. That's what I was like. That was fast.
The building is kind of a large circular structure that is built up of stone. It looks kind of out of place from the rest of the buildings in that it looks very structurally sound and not new but well maintained. But you all find yourselves in the square of the town. Vendors are set up with their carts, serving people the different foods, freshly baked goods and soups and souvenirs of a bit similar to what Deep Rot sells, dolls and whatnot.
I just want to
Seems like the
say,
town is making it an occasion for the
I
whole
think it's
family.
a little unfair that we can't bring a dead body to speak here. That's too much. But they can sell food and make an affair out of a hanging for a man who's probably innocent.
I agree with you, but that's
These
not enough to
standards.
stop me from getting in on it. And Bonnie whips out her vials of crushed owlbear beak.
Yes.
And just starts pandering. Not gonna draw a huge focus to it, but I'll do a little sneaky sales on the side.
Okay.
If the rest of the crew wants
Make
to.
me a persuasion check.
Okey-dokey.
Deep Rod is going to look for a good position, maybe like a stack of boxes or a fountain that he can stand on and get a better view.
Okay.
Oh, I probably am used to putting him on my shoulders if you want that, because Violet's really tall.
I can do that as well.
You want to be like the little my god, we should just put me in like a trench coat, and then you can be like just a really tall man.
A kobold caborn.
That is all Casey has wanted this entire time.
Yeah.
Is to
That's what
do
Justin
the
has wanted.
multiple people in a trench
Trench
coat.
coat. It's finally happening.
You
I
can
can
It's
see
getting that long.
that the crowd, several people are already in place, kind of forming a semicircle around the stand and waiting, chatting with each other. Some have brought lunch; they're eating it while talking.
Little picnic.
Did you roll persuasion?
18.
18. Okay. Roll me a 1d10.
Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Gotta get a manual roll going.
Hmm.
Where do we think we have the time for? 4. 4.
4? Oh,
Is a 4.
sorry. I didn't realize that was the number at the end of your sentence. You make 4 gold. Well done. A few people buy your goods. Or one person. I don't know how much you sell your bottles for, but a nondescript amount of people buy your
We'll
goods.
say-
You cajole
yeah,
them.
We'll
into
say
buying
a
your
gold
baloney.
per. It's not baloney. It's genuine dirt. It's just not gonna do any of the things that she's And if anybody overhears her, she's just making up whatever. She's just like, yeah, looks like you've got some waffle eczema. It'll definitely cure that up. Oh, you're balding. That's awfully unfortunate. Don't worry, this will definitely take care of it for you. Just whatever. Just immediate rude assessments of them and their problems.
I didn't have any problems with my baldness before, but
Oh my goodness, sir!
You
You
tell
need to get
them-
yourself. You need to get yourself more honest friends. I know that not a lot of people in this town have mirrors, but I can
Oh.
assure you, I'm looking at the back of your head right now, and I can see what's a coming, and you're not gonna like it. But don't you worry, because I've got you a nice little tasty bit of ground owlbear beak. All you gotta do is mix this into 2/3 cup warm water, apply it on the back of your head twice a day,
Oh.
and you're gonna be right as rain in 3 to 6 months when I'm long gone.
you definitely get inspiration for that if you don't already have it. That's great.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Is anybody doing anything else? B, do you want to steal some more? It's probably a lot
Yeah.
easier in a crowd.
Well, is Tanner in this crowd
Yeah, I'm looking for Tanner.
specifically? I hope that you know that
Walking
every
through the crowd
time,
with a 300-pound deer
every-
on his shoulder.
I know,
every
I'm like
time
that
I
when
see him, I'm gonna
Not
try and
coming.
steal from him now because he's on her shit list now.
Oh yeah.
Is he in the crowd? If he's not, I'll pick some other people's pockets, but
He's not. To save us all some time. He's not. You can watch him walking away down further past towards the tavern.
That means something. Why do you think he's not coming to the hanging?
Is he with that dwarven woman? That highly suspicious dwarven lady? Is that where this is all leading? Is it the two of them? Are they canoodling?
No,
What
she
have I-
has a boyfriend who's
What have I done?
Her boyfriend is almost certainly dead, right? Is that not the case? She is single and ready to mingle
was
with
her
a
boyfriend's
simpleton and a shiny crossbow.
Give me
Guys,
a
I
dummy.
just want to go on record. I didn't call him a simpleton. I just said he was more simple. You guys started calling him a simpleton.
Oh, I just assumed that.
I'm
was
sorry.
I feel like
if someone is
It's
simple,
like
does that not make them a
medieval
simpleton?
fantasy
No,
or
What's
it
the
doesn't.
whatever.
difference
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, simple just means
Just-
he's not overly fancy dressed. It just means like plain attire.
Oh, he's
Simple
boring.
Oh.
That was
means
not
dumb.
the
I
context
That's
that
not
I
what
got out of that.
I did.
I thought
Thank
you were like, this man is a dummy, dumb dummy.
That's what I-
did.
That's what I thought.
It meant
Usually
both.
in these contexts, people will say plain, not simple.
Yeah.
They're synonyms, so
I-
Golly.
All right.
Golly, Rob.
All right.
Oh my goodness. What a folly has been
Too
made
late.
here.
That doesn't take him off of Beast
I'm going to rename this campaign the Rob's Folly. So everybody knows ahead of time. Okay.
Is there
so-
anyone who looks particularly wealthy in the crowd?
Just
I'll just do a quick little.
make me 2 sleight of hand checks, please.
Yeah, great. 17.
We're going to get this down to a science because I know
And an
you
8.
want to steal from everybody. Okay. You are successful with one of the thieveries. Roll me a 1d10.
Oh shoot, I forgot it's a different command.
Slash.
Thank you.
There is a 1d10 die on D&D Beyond.
Yeah, it's just a pain. 3.
Yeah, I never remember those.
You make 15 silver.
Thank you.
Okay. Well done. Does anybody want to do anything else before the actual hanging?
No, I think as we're going through the crowd and Bonnie's talking to people, Deeprod's trying to help her in his best way by, like, as she's pointing out clear flaws, Deeprod's just like,
Yes, yes. Unsightly visage, just awful looking.
just adding into the things as he's passing. He's clearly trying to wind through the crowd, though, to get, near the front.
Yeah, I think getting either I see two things. I think we could either try to get as close as possible to the front, or if the rest of the crew does that, what I might try to do is like fly up on top of one of the buildings to get like more of an overhead view.
I would guess that we're used to
Mm.
enjoying watching things like this in the various towns we visit, so we have some sort of system for like finding a good like high up seat point of view where we can just like settle in with snacks and have a good show.
You
Okay.
sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we probably have a system for like, oh, like that looks like a good spot. Let's like help each other up, like get ourselves all situated to enjoy what we're about to watch.
That's true. And along that vein, you know that it's usually executions like this are a pretty big affair in towns, especially small ones, or depending on the criminal. And there are people that exist that go around to different executions and watch them as a kind of a pastime, as a hobby. So you guys might get close to falling into that category, but mostly by happenstance, just because when you're in town, usually there's an execution or two happening. So yeah, you're able to find some good spots using your advanced execution knowledge. So that happens. You get very good views
Yeah.
onto what's happening.
I'd mostly like to get a spot where I can keep an eye. Like, I'd like to see different folks' reactions to this. I'm kind of looking anyone that seems like really happy, anyone that seems upset about what's about to happen. I don't know why they're there.
Mhm.
Kind of like
Right here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pure jubilation.
Yeah. But I'm more interested in the opposite of that, or like
Oh.
anger, or yeah, maybe people who look secretly relieved, looking for werewolves. Where's Nagby?
You don't see him. You do see a guard or two walking around, but you don't see him right now.
Bum,
You've never seen Nagby and
bum.
a werewolf in the same
Dramatic
room.
reverb.
That's true. You haven't. Mostly because you haven't seen the werewolf yet. So,
Right.
And he did have that lapse in memory.
Putting the pieces together. Oh my goodness, mysterious. Can't remember what he's been up to at night. Nagby. Okay, this is gonna bother me if I don't acknowledge it, but we definitely saw that there was something wrong with the like executioner's hanging setup. We just weren't able to
Yeah.
figure out what that something wrong is. So
Is it more clear since we're at a different like angle looking at
yeah,
the stand?
if we're like sitting like up on top of City Hall or something and we're able to look down over the top of it, is there like a big crack in the wood or like
I love.
something?
Can we use our advanced execution knowledge for a gallows roll?
yes, and
We roll
that's
for
actually why I let
gallows.
you roll for that one in the first place originally. Deep Rot, you can make another investigation check, and if someone is proficient in investigation in the party, they can assist with it.
I am,
Plus
Okay.
4, but
but I have
Oh.
proficiency.
Yep. So Deep Rot can roll with advantage.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Deep Rot, you are on the same brain wavelength with the rest of your party, and you see Bonnie kind of tilt her head at the execution stand, looking curiously at it, and you remember your, not concerns, but observations about it, that it looks a bit off. and you try again to understand why you had that thought. And then it hits you. The rope is very short for this, maybe 1.5 feet long. Usually, the drop is much larger. You know that the larger drop is to ideally kill the condemned immediately. If it's not long enough, they'll struggle.
Okay, so would Deep Rot relish in this struggle, or
He absolutely would.
I
was
think
like,
he
"Fuck, he's
would
gonna
just-
Because
love
I think he
this."
would like the drama of the big drop, like a roller coaster ride. You know what I mean?
yeah, but so like then it's over, and Deep Rot is very much for
Yeah, but-
But
enjoying.
it's like much more of a high than like. Do you want? It's like, do you want the slow burn, or do you want the like peak moment of insane joy?
I think that joy's gonna come no matter what, but the slow burn up to it is he wants those waves of enjoyment, not just the quick.
He wants to see the body like twitch and then go
Uh-huh.
still,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then twitch again one more time.
You just like as he's
Oh,
sitting there on
awful.
Violet's shoulders, it's just all of a sudden he's just yay. Like you see him just like start wringing his fingers, just insanely large grin as he's just almost like looking at the gallows with a palpable glare, so to speak.
Some of the dirt from Deep Rot's fingers fall off as
Into
it does,
Violet's
rains
hair.
down, yeah, onto Violet. You know what's funny? As the DM, I was like, man, I hope that he gets to learn why, but I really hope that they don't do anything with it because then I'll have to kind of like rewrite what I have. That was never a problem. That was never going to happen. And that's great. I love it. Okay. All right. That's good that we have that. I'm going to start the execution scene. You guys are welcome to interrupt me whenever. It's totally fine. This one, a lot of stuff happens. So don't feel like you have to just sit in silence. You can ask to make checks or whatever. Okay.
I feel like it should probably be worth saying that the whole point we went to the graveyard was to see if there was maybe someone else other than Percy who maybe caused this to
I
happen.
know.
And we did that. And we went to the graveyard and we found evidence that it maybe wasn't Percy. And then we just went. Anyway, on back to the hanging.
I don't know
Yeah,
that it was
we
enough.
did
Have, like-
get enough.
We,
We
have
haven't, like,
physical
addressed-
evidence.
Well, but it also feels like we have not like acknowledged that was our like original purpose. That we just went cool, thanks for the info.
I
back
kinda
to
gave
the
up.
hanging now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
Deep Rot never wanted to interrupt it, so
Correct.
That is
Well,
very true.
I really, I sort of thought that we were going to get something a bit more substantial than what we found from Nettle. It just, maybe
that's
it
how
really
the
was
dead
just.
work.
Maybe,
Really-
but, two-legged, lots of fur.
Plus, we took a
Percy's-
big risk in asking a teenager.
To be honest, I have a feeling they were going to hang this man regardless. I think they just wanted an easy out. I think any evidence we brought to them.
Would Deep Red have
Well-
told us about the rope?
It seems like
The
he's
big
keeping-
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's shaking.
100%
no.
Shaking his head no.
Oh yeah.
absolutely not. That's it was almost like a Cheshire grin came across his face as he realized what was going to happen, and he just kind of like became more focused in on the moment. He's almost ignoring you guys.
Okay, but we're
Around-
just gonna agree that we all go, yeah, that wasn't enough evidence. We're just gonna continue. I just feel like I need some kind of canonical reason for us to even be here other than
Embrace
Selling
the
shit, like,
embrace the
sure.
shittiness that is our party.
no, we've spent the past 3 sessions going, we should probably figure this out, and then as
You
soon as the hanging
guys,
time came around, we just glossed over it.
For what it's worth, you guys did try, and you got some evidence. Your characters would probably reasonably feel that you didn't get enough to get a man off from his death, And you feel like you probably didn't have enough time to really dig into it anyway.
It's like
If
it
there was a
stacked
piece of
against
evidence,
All right.
to some degree, yeah.
I'll take it.
Maybe if you got there a day or so earlier, but as it stands, not really.
Yeah, I feel a little bad, but I'm not losing sleep over it.
Yeah, I feel better with the justification. Thank you, Mr. DM.
Yeah, no problem.
I think it really is like if we knew about the rope thing, it's very clear that they're like taking great joy in killing this guy since
Yeah.
they shortened the rope. So it's like I think Allie's right. There's no way like we could have come and been like, oh, here's the person who says they did it, and they would have been like, he was his accomplice.
For what it's worth, there's only one person responsible for that, the rope. So, and you know who it is.
The executioner.
Okay, let's do it, baby. The crowd jostles and quivers. In
I throw a javelin.
You hit you. I don't even know it. As with the last time you did that, you throw it and it lands on the ground, sparks, and
I'm going on mute. Go ahead.
a child runs up, grabs it, and runs away.
Oh.
They formed a
Behavior, I'll
rough
put you in.
semicircle with the execution stand being the focal point. A deafening silence courses through the air. An endless minute passes. A child somewhere lets out a wail and begins to fuss, only to be quickly rebuffed by their mother. The church bell begins to sway. A moment later, loud and metallic bongs sound out. The church doors swing open across the way with a distant creak. The man you know as Percy Woodsmith emerges from the church and begins his final shuffle across the worn cobblestone surface of the square. He's flanked on his left by Father Grottle, who looks solemn in his black and white priest attire. The executioner takes up Percy's right, hobbling along with a curved staff as a walking stick, almost like a shepherd's crook. He wears deep red robes, hood pulled up and over his head. His face, that you can see, is expressionless. They're further flanked by 2 guards on each side, one of which is Nagby Boom. The crowd watches with mixed emotions at the slow procession, some with awe, some with sorrow, and others with rage. Eventually, though, the condemned reaches the bottom of the platform. The executioner walks up first, then Percy, then the priest, each with their own unique set of creaks and groans from the freshly constructed wood. Finally, the 3 stand at the forefront of the platform, the swaying noose looming behind them. The executioner puts his hand on Percy's shoulder and gently guides him to his final standing place. As the noose is fixed around Percy's neck, Father Grottle speaks out to the crowd, voice loud and clear. Today, a member of our community has been sentenced to death. Percy Woodsmith has been with us for his whole life, and several generations of his family have done the same. It is with a heavy heart that we find ourselves in this situation. Would that we could go back and make things right. Now, though, we must adhere to the laws of the land. Blood has been spilt, and blood must be paid. May Percy's devotion to Paylor see him mercy in the afterlife. Percy, do you wish to unburden yourself in these final moments? The noose has been affixed and tightened to Percy's neck. 1.5 foot of rope connects him to the wooden arm above. Bindings, likewise, have been tied around his wrists. The executioner stands by, silently, with his gloved hand on a lever. Percy allows himself a grimace before calling out to the crowd. His voice is far less composed than the father's, cracking and faltering. My family has served this town loyally for generations. My father, as a game warden, and his father before him in the mine. A loud jeer is called out from the crowd, a wordless taunt. Several others join in, drowning out Percy's words. He stops, looking pained, before the hushes from the crowd silence the anger. Percy starts again. All that loyalty rewarded with the position of scapegoat. I didn't kill anyone. Paylor will smile upon me. He will welcome me. Percy falls silent. Father Grottle looks towards him, approaches, and begins to speak in a low voice. You can't hear the words, but you recognize the prayer of a holy man to the dying. The prayer done, Father Grottle takes a large sack out of his robes and places it over Percy's head. After a moment, the father steps back, his lips pressed in neutrality. The executioner pulls the lever with a suddenness that makes your stomach drop. The click of metal, the snap and bang of the platform dropping, and the groan of straining rope. Percy drops down a foot before reaching the end of the rope, bouncing up an inch or so from the force of the fall. The fall does not kill him, though, merely strangle him. Immediately, he begins to struggle and attempt to cry out. Gurgles sound from beneath the bag. His feet kick out, and his body writhes to free itself. And some in the crowd turn away, some watch with fascination, and others cheer. This goes on for a minute or so, his struggles getting weaker and weaker. His writhing turns into more of a weak wiggle. Suddenly, though, Percy seems to muster up the strength for one last struggle. He twists and turns his body, managing to get his feet up onto the platform. This motion seems to loosen the bag on his head, which quickly falls and flutters to the floor. Underneath is a nightmare. Percy's face is a deep purple, tongue and eyes engorged with blood and bulging out of his head. The sound of his battle for air is much more clear now, a choking man dying mere feet in front of you. The crowd shouts and cries in dismay. Parents cover their children's eyes. Panic and disgust sweeps the townspeople. The father looks sharply to the executioner, who calmly steps over to Percy, grabs his torso with both hands, and yanks downwards. The struggling stops and falls silent. The executioner puts another bag onto Percy's head to cover the sight, but the damage is done. The crowd quickly disperses, a silence in the air much more different than the one at the beginning of the spectacle. The group is quickly left alone in a dispersing crowd. The guards leap into action and begin to chatter, partially but quietly among each other. The priest says another prayer and walks off of the stage and back towards the church. The executioner putting some finishing touches on the body.
Deep Rot pulls out a cigarette.
That good, huh?
I put him down. He's not doing that on my head.
Taps out the ashes on her hair, dirt and ashes in her hair.
I should be so mad.
Okay.
What is the... I mean, people seem... That's just not what they expected. Like, not how they expected it to go. Do they seem disappointed? Do people seem relieved?
You guys know from your experience that it's usually it's pretty bad form when something like this happens.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like to see the actual reality of the hanging, so to speak. Some people do, like people that were sitting on your head. Others, though, that bring their families along, maybe not.
Gosh, if Everin hadn't been so noisy, I could have heard his death rattle. Couldn't even make it out from all the screaming down there. These people don't have any hanging courtesy, I'll tell you that.
Weird. I couldn't hear anything else.
That was probably all the blood rushing to your ears, my friend. You doing okay over there? You need a minute to... I'll leave you to it.
It was interesting. Did you notice the rope? Too short to snap. He struggled quite feverishly.
You'd think these people have never executed someone before.
He
Oh,
said his family's been doing this for years. That's...
he's
Nothing.
either not
An
very good at
accident.
what he does, or he relishes in the struggle. He wanted to see the man suffer. That was clear.
Well, can't fault him too much if they really do believe that he killed all those, all those teens and kids. I can understand that there's probably a certain amount of healing that goes into to watching something this vengeful.
Well, we did have one positive thing come out of this situation. We know that he's probably not the thing that is furry and on two legs. One would think that when faced with death, you use all resources, and shifting into something like that type of monster would be bound to happen as you're struggling to live. So at least we know it's not him. We've narrowed down subjects.
Question. Would we know if shifters can shift at will?
Mm-hmm. Or if it's
Yeah, what kind of
tied
werewolf
to
logic
nature.
is this?
Depends.
Is it like
Depends on the
wolf or
shifter.
it's-
There are different versions of the curse. Some where, like classic lycanthropy, where the shifter, quote unquote, the werewolf is able to morph back and forth between their werewolf form and their human form. Although you can usually tell someone is infected with lycanthropy because they lose a lot of their humanity in the process. Some curses, you guys would generally know combined knowledge, are less controlled, more of an actual curse over somebody. So you guys do see, as the group, I do want to say the guards have come. The more perceptive of you, which I believe is just B, clever B, can you overhear a few snippets of the conversation from the guards. They're not trying to be necessarily super quiet, but they are keeping it mostly themselves. They're not involving anybody else. They are currently in the process. They're bringing. You can see a horse and a cart coming over, an empty cart, and they are undoing the noose. They look like they're about to transport the body somewhere. You can hear the snippets of the conversation. Here, get them out of here. Take them to the tree line of town, and then you also overhear two guards that are approaching that were kind of like on shift within the crowd to keep order in the crowd if anything happened to stop pickpockets. Um, walking towards the center of the square, talking to each other. You also overhear, and I would say Deep Rot and Bonnie also overhear the guards saying to each other, and these are two nameless guards that you guys haven't met. You're gonna go over to his place and do the final sweep of his house. And the other guard says, oh, "Fuck no, dude. That place is gonna be fucking cursed or something. Absolutely not. I heard that the body parts are still in there." And they walk past.
Hmm.
What's happening with his corpse?
They're loading it onto a wagon. It looks like they're about to take it out of town.
Taken out of town, not
Correct.
towards the graveyard. Okay, I'm sorry if you said that and I missed it. Okay.
No, taking it to the tree line. I think they're just gonna like dump in a ditch somewhere.
Which would not be
So
the worst. But
unsanitary. Oh,
if they try to like burn it or destroy it,
bury it.
then
God.
we can't. I
You
was
wanna
gonna
save
say
the head
loot
for
it, and then
later?
I was gonna say
Oh.
fuck. I think we already figured out that he doesn't have anything on it because we checked him
Yeah.
out during the when he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can't ask his corpse questions, and that would also be potentially helpful.
So we got a
Always
pretty
save the head.
pretty good idea that maybe there's some good stuff out in his cabin though.
Do you hear that?
Mhm,
His,
mhm,
Body
Mhm.
parts.
his cabin has loot, and I could add
Body
more
parts.
more pieces to my shield. Yeah,
Like body parts.
yeah.
We could also
That's the
obtain
only
body
thing I got
parts
out
if
of that.
we steal his body. Get a whole body. One whole
Are we
body.
gonna-
All of the parts. All the parts. All in one go. Seems pretty impressive. Deeprot, when was the last time that you had a whole intact corpse?
I mean, we just did
He
like 30
he-
minutes ago in the grave.
he shifts around and he kind of pats the head and he says,
This is Sir
Half.
Farron. Sir Farron is the only one that I truly wanted all of. I think she might be frozen.
I'm frozen. I'm lagging. I'm back.
Okay. I was like, what is
Something.
happening?
What was the corpse we saw in the grave? That corpse was missing a whole bunch of body parts. Deeper, when was the last time you saw a whole body?
Yeah, and he said,
That's the point where I flaked out.
yeah, he was just indicating that.
This is Sir Farron. He's the only full body that I ever wanted.
Oh, that you ever wanted? Oh. Deeper. I thought you'd be more excited about the concept of having a whole corpse. Just imagine all the grubs that you could get out of separating out those organs. Look, I'm just saying I think that we should try to steal his corpse, okay? I don't think, you're our thief. What's the chance that you can carry around a whole corpse twice your size?
Well, I'm not very strong. More agile. I could
With
carry
my
around a
strength and
piece
your
of him.
agility, two of us working together, we might be able to get the corpse, and then a crazy idea. Maybe we split the party. Maybe we have a little corpse stealing adventure, and then the two of you go check out the house and see what other body parts, and then we reconvene. Think about it.
You guys see the wagon leaving town. You do know sometimes towns will leave the corpses hanging on the execution, depending on the crime and the town. If they usually they'll leave the body hanging until it rots off the noose. But sometimes they'll move it to a less visible part of the area so that if people want to look at it, they still can, but it doesn't take up the whole space.
We got to clear room for more hangings, I'm assuming, because
Exactly.
clearly they're going to accuse someone else when the murders don't stop. And they know it.
Also, what
a
I'm
thing.
hearing is, hey, dummies, they're not going to burn the body, so you don't need to go steal the corpse immediately. You can find it later. I think that's the subtext that we're picking
Oh,
up
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
That is a
Let's go to this
subtext.
fucking
Also,
house.
it might not be hard to steal it. Because they're not going to leave
We'll steal
guards
it
next to
later.
the
We
body.
I don't think it's even stealing at that point. It's just
That's free body.
Yeah,
Just go
that's
take
true.
it. They just
Fair.
leave
Free
these
corpse.
bodies out here. So those are two good options, I think, to leave the session on. Either going to his body to do something with it, or going to his cabin.
All in favor of cabin? Hands up. All in favor of body? Hands up. Emily, that was
Lisa, you
I
didn't
don't know which
vote.
one that one was for.
I am in favor of
'Cause
the.
I'm
We
just
can
here
go
for a
back
good time,
later,
fam.
and I feel like the cabin we got to get there before everyone else does. We
Okay,
Yeah, I
got to-
worry about
cabin.
other
I'm
people
good with
looting
cabin.
the
Happy.
cabin.
Hell yeah.
Like, just because the
Alright.
guards said they're not going to be doing an inspection, like, I could totally see some local teens being like, dude, empty cabin with spooky stuff. Let's have a house party.
You know that those kids are just gonna try to like sweep out all the body parts so they can just get high in that abandoned cabin.
Yeah, if anyone
Those
should be getting high
hooligans
there, it should be
don't-
us. We earned that right.
We would know how to handle those body parts respectively while also getting high in an abandoned cabin. More alternatively, maybe there are no teenagers sneaking in because all the teenagers have
They're
gone
all
missing.
dead.
Maybe they're all. I'm just, it's a possibility. But if there are body parts in this cabin, there's probably also another dead body somewhere. So they're probably not all missing. That or the guards are wrong. I don't know. Could be anything. Could be so many things. Find out next time.
So you guys decide to go to the cabin. It's about noon. I think that's what I said the hanging was going to be. So you guys have heard where generally the cabin is. You could reasonably find it. I think you heard that it was along the path leading out of town anyway. So why don't you guys give me a survival check, and I assume at least two people are proficient in it, so add advantage, whomever wants to do that.
I am not proficient.
In
Oh,
which
the
I'm
style?
also not
Perception?
proficient.
Oh, Maybe not.
In perception?
Survival.
Survival.
Nope. Not proficient.
Oh wow.
Does anyone have
I
more
mean,
than a 0?
I
in it?
have a
I've got
+2.
I have a +4,
Well.
but
You've got the best one out of all of us, Casey.
Yeah, Deep Rot, this one's on you, bud.
10.
I have a +2. Do you want me to try?
That's not how it works.
Oh yeah, you said 2 and there's 2 rolls already. Okay.
What?
I fucked up. I'm sorry. I bungered the roll. Ignore it. I hit the button on accident. I don't know how to use D&D Beyond.
You can give someone advantage. You, at least I'll say, if someone else is proficient in it. Otherwise, it's
Oh, I see
otherwise
what
they're
you're
all-
saying.
So, with a 10, you guys make your way towards where you've heard the cabin is along the path, and this is the first time that you've actually entered the forest. The path kind of goes through the trees that are
All for
sparsely.
inspo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, nice. Go ahead.
16.
Nice.
Hey, there it
hell
is.
yeah.
Don't
thank you.
get
Coming in
lost.
clutch.
Thanks, Justin. The trees begin sparse, but then thicken very quickly into a dense canopy that you begin to walk under and through, almost like an archway into shadowed darkness. Even though it's noon, not much light filters through the leaves and the branches. There's a lot of room in between the trunks, as you saw coming into this area at first. But now you actually get a taste for the atmosphere. You walk along the path, and a few hours pass, and then another few hours. It does take quite some time to make your way through the trees and into the forest and finding where the cabin is. You've heard that it's along the path, but you don't see any structures off the trail or near the trail for a while. Maybe about 4 or 5 hours pass before you find yourselves at a cabin in the woods. Off through the trees, you can see some thickets blocking your view, and then a small footpath tread by many, many decades of boots walking straight towards an open plot, and you can see some structure between the limbs of the forest. Every so often, while you're walking, you can hear leaves rustling, the sound of fluttering wings, and in the distance, maybe the occasional signs of movement, but nothing close by, at least that you can see. You do get the sense that you are being watched, that tingling sensation down your spine. But you make it to the cabin. Let's do this. And now I have to drag you guys, so hold on 1 second. And then I have to put your tokens down.
Oh, really? Our
But-
tokens, you say?
Yes. Super bonus points to whoever recognizes this place. This is from Tales Bazaar.
Can we also
Ooh.
get some super bonus points for now also all having our own little custom characters?
Hell
and
yeah,
whatnot?
brother!
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? That's not me. What the fuck?
Who is it?
What
What
is
are we
this?
talking about?
Oh
Oh,
my
I thought I
God.
changed it. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
my god.
Well, we'll have to
Oh,
change that
the,
for next time.
the unprofessionalism
Whoops.
in this
That's
space.
what you guys come to this stream for. I don't know what to tell you. You don't come to
I'm
this
so
stream for
excited.
professionalism, that's for
John
sure.
by Minnie. Anyway. It's a
Yeah,
stupid
Bonnie's
cabin.
linked. In
Yeah,
the-
I thought I do remember seeing that. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. So my apologies. You guys step out from between the trees and are immediately stricken. Your feelings of your frequent proximity to the occult have heightened your senses to recognizing when you're within its nearness. And this time is no different. You feel a thickness in the air. This is a place either hallowed, or consecrated, you don't know yet. But there's an energy here. as you walk towards these well-kept buildings. Everybody make me perception checks.
19.
18.
Violet, did you actually get a... Okay, that took so long.
Took a little extra.
Oh, I muted.
Deep
Yeah,
rot.
it takes a while on.
Deep Rot, Violet, and Bonnie, you walk into the area and you immediately recognize the scent of blood. Deep Rot, no, sorry. Bonnie, you see throughout the dirt in the ground surrounding the cabin deep track marks and the signs of a struggle.
Are the track
And as-
marks leading somewhere?
They're leading in a few places.
Ah,
And on that question, as the party approaches the cabin, now maybe with different expectations, we're going to end the session and pick up next week.
Just 2 more hours.
Yeah.
Well, we're still on and streaming. I looked up were creatures, and if you go off of the prolific series Were World, which has its own wiki page, they list were barracuda, were whale, and were squids. So why not were reptiles?
Okay.
There also might be reptiles. I just didn't look like that. And were crocodile.
Okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you the scalies. I would be interested about the prey animals, though. Thanks, guys. We'll get you that important information, too, next week. Who knows what were creature we're in store for. So, thanks, everyone, for coming. We love you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
My money's on Were Barracuda.
Bye.
Barracuda?
Oh, no.